I don't know.
Consent item.
A motion, do I have a second? A second, by Mr. Portable, all in favor, say Ms. Capilar, committee update.
Good evening, Madam Superintendent, members of the board. On September 17th,
completed, the flood return was also completed in early August. Our executive panel was completed August 1st, and we have upcoming, repair, that needs to be completed here, hopefully within the next week and a half. That being at Wolf bedroom, inquiry room, replacement of carpet, VCTs, toilet and this, floor repair that was completed. And some more of the upcoming is a RHS as well with the track. You get cleaning of that within the next week and a half or so. And RHS rainfall field repair. The warning tracks specifically that's on the books for the next week and a half. Be completed by Monday. Next project district-wide, we're seeking quotes for, awaiting our third quote for window repair and installation around the district, various buildings, specifically, I believe, Sierra Vista, Los Niños, and Robertson High School. Next project district-wide is Summit Fire Panel Project, another project that has been on the books for quite a while. We did receive an update from our our director of safety, and she did let us know that that project, the completion timeline, the completion date has been moved to November, September, when pushed on to November. At Mike Mateo Elementary School, we do have continuous water sampling going on to determine to reassure that the water is safe out there, which it is. We have Adam Lucero, who's a water operator, doing those tests, sending monthly reports. Moving forward, another CES project that is held at CES, and the vendor is actually waiting for the purchase order that is wall side paneling, on the Mike Mateo Center Elementary Gym. That is to the tune of $91,939.15. Once again, it's held at CES, the purchase order is held at CES. Vendor is waiting that purchase order to start the project. Pump house, we have about 90% of it completed. We have had interior, exterior lighting, replacement of the wall heater, and replacement of some switches. What we're waiting to finish off this project is well pump control, and that's to the tune of $3,140.50. That's at my detail. Also, we're seeking quotes for digital camera inspection of the well. The well is currently in compliance, but we're seeking reassurance from the run cameras to go with that well. Mooring, we're waiting on again some more flood repair. This is at the expense of CCSMI and insurance. You fix the road landscape, the side of each road that's kind of collapsed on the excavator to tail. That's an upcoming project slated to be started here. Memorial Middle School. This is Bolton Memorial Middle School, again, part of the flood damage. We are waiting on the vendor to come in and install sound panels and code base, which should happen next week, 9/23/24. That's Bolton and SGM. And then also going on to Memorial Middle School, the new Memorial Middle School, specifically for red building. We're seeking quotes compared to some of the damage that we have on the news. That for red building. Going on to Los Niños, we do have some continuous problems. We did have sweet bed again today. We had Franklin go in. We had to take care of that. We're working with Frank to kind of close out some of the project at Los Niños. To include Dora Harbor, which we completed. And also we had invested oil, there's with Franklin, PSFA, and Close Simmons. Sierra Vista in Clay North Star and PSFA have informed us of moving forward into the schematic design phase. We will be meeting with the Hill and Associates on 6/24 to discuss the design, completion of the design. Fencing, we have a fencing project. We are waiting the purchase order to get to the vendors. We'll get started on that. And that specifically is behind Los Niños in Sierra Vista. It cuts off the access road. We will put a gate up and fencing. Pacifiers from going into these playgrounds, and then of course the cut off line roadway access, but then roadway access. At Robertson High School, we did have an electrical box go out in early August. Did have a vendor go in and install, a new disconnect box. That was part of the power surge that occurred in Las Vegas. However, that has been fixed and remedied at this time. RHS Martin Fieldhouse Improvement Project, again, an insurance, funded project. It's been on the books for a little while. The PO is at CES, the vendor is awaiting the PO for CES. And RHS main building gutter project and career ed, gutter projects have been completed. The main building, expense for that was $55,076.12. That was completed at the end of July. And mid-August, the gutter project that career ed building, we did install gutters there. That expense was $4,497.36. That was completed on August 12th. Northon, we're about 98% done with that project. Again, that occurred over the summer. If anybody's been into our gym, the bleacher installation is quite noticeable and it adds a lot to our gym. That expense was $719,983.49. All banks have been completed. We're just waiting on end purpose and a tune-up on one of the steps. Things to be taken care of. They're coming in next week. That's one of them. AK sales, replacement of a winch on the basketball goal. We did have a motor replaced and installed. However, it was faulty. We had the second one installed. And in addition, we did have some new switches installed also. We have another visit with them to come back in and fine tune that next week. Northcon safety straps to be replaced and installed in our gym. We are waiting to get on their schedule. And then we have NFHS Pixel camera. We have that in our gym. We have it in Cardinal Stadium. We are awaiting a vendor to get that up and running at Cardinal Stadium so people can watch the game can be streamed. We have NMDOT, we have a project coming up, sidewalk repair on the east side of our gym. Purchase order is with CES, the vendor is with that purchase order. I think that pretty much covers that one. Any questions?
Hold on, Mr. Romero. Mr. Fulgens, I have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Why are we not being able to stream it? I know you've been receiving a bunch of calls and I've received a couple of calls from a parent. And I know I was at the capital outlay meeting. What's that contractor gonna have to do? Is it a pinch wire? Is it a cut wire?
So that's an IT issue. I'll kind of defer to
Moderate.
director.
Well, I don't know, maybe you can just explain to the rest of the board as to what's going on.
Sure, it was multiple issues. We had heat issues from lack of cooling in all three IDFs, so that's the upstairs. Heater closet, downstairs heater closet over at Michael Gym. As well as, the box over the field, the fixed levels. We endured extreme heat, which blew up our switches at all three sites, our access point, the amplifier, and they're pretty much shorted out every cable. I had to re-terminate every cable that's connecting the two switches as well as out the box. We placed all those devices. My concern is that we still don't have cooling in those areas, so my thoughts would be to turn off the equipment in the box. We're seeing these temperatures, these operating temperatures, until we get a mini split or some sort of cooling in there, because it's going to happen. Currently, all the equipment's been replaced. The Ethernet cable that goes from our gym to the box is shorted. I've replaced the both ends of the cable, but the conduit is also seemingly destroyed in our HVAC installation. So the cable was pulled, and it was pulled, it was bound. Because 10 pairs that were pulled, and they were all bound together, so you can't pull a single pair. The conduit's at 80% full, so it would be a lot of work to get another cable. What I'm attempting to do is, now that the switches are up, is to bridge the wireless access point that's in the box to the access point that's in our gym, because it's under 100 feet, and we should get a good line of sight connection via wireless for that. I'm working on that. I have a contractor coming in tomorrow. I worked on it the majority of last week to get all the equipment in place. I have two vendors coming out I'll have it set separate by the business.
So you think it'd be up by tomorrow?
I'm hoping, yes.
Awesome.
When you bring that, I will keep you guys posted.
Awesome. Mr. Wilgenzi, do you think this has anything to do with, I know there was a power fluctuation and one of the boxes started on fire or something there by the field house. Do you think this has any correlation with that?
Possibility that was on the agenda, those ones electrical. So,
But could have been something.
I've seen a lot of issues, a lot of power circuits. So we're gonna try to condition all our power coming into our IDFs. As well as, again, heating issues, environmentals, and just.
Thank you. I have a couple other questions, Mr. Fulgenzi. The fencing that we're gonna do at Los Niños, I know there's a roadway in the back. Is that an alley for the city of Las Vegas, or is that just somebody that just kept driving through it and it looks like?
So we do have an alleyway, and we also have another roadway that's on our property. So it's going to separate the alleyway from, that roadway.
Okay.
That starts on Mountain View and goes. It ends actually between, at the parking lot between those communities and cities. So that's what we'll place the, gate, so there'll be limited access to that.
The next thing I have is electric enforcement. In finance committee, I noticed there was 71, I don't know, so tell me that $71,000 electric enforcement. And I know there's a little bit of that invoice was showing, not an invoice, but a proposal, I guess, for some asphalt.
Sure.
What's that?
So that's what I had mentioned earlier, the sidewalks just east of Margin. That was an NMDOT award.
Right. Is electric enforcement going to be the wood?
Electrical enforcement actually subcontracted, they actually did the front parking lot last year.
So he has a DD98.
Process of this, yeah.
Not a problem, because a couple of individuals in the finance committee brought that question up, so that I can clear that up. The architect at Stella Vista, I know, didn't you have a meeting, Madam Superintendent, the other day? It was
We'll be meeting with him on Tuesday
on Tuesday.
at 12:30.
That's all my questions. I almost feel now you have questions.
Well, there's how many projects do we have tied up with people
Right now, we have about 7 upcoming projects, 6 to 7, we probably have about 3 or 4 that are.
Yes, so currently what's happening is Workforce Solution has not honored our request for wage decisions because of some old jobs. The specific ones are Summit, Fire Upgrades, Los Elementary School, and Honeywell. Honeywell, we're resolving effective by tomorrow, that should be completed. Summit, we need to get updates on and Los Niños, but essentially Workforce Solutions, the representative I spoke to indicated that because these jobs are so old, they are refusing to release our FEIN number, so they will not issue wage decision to contractors, which is basically holding up all of the capital projects jobs moving forward. As far as I know, I'm trying to give her detailed updates, but she said they are not releasing it because these jobs have to get done. They said you've received multiple extensions, they've been going on for several years. So they want, I'm trying to provide updates to her, but she said as of this time that they just want to get the jobs completed. So right now, the 2 big ones that need to be complete since Honeywell is now resolved, which is the Margin HVAC system, it's all done. Is gonna be Los Niños and Summit.
HVAC is working, however. It becomes an automatic when we transition from season to season, so we're gonna go from cool to heat and vice versa. Cool. So I've actually requested a quote for a service contract. We have a technician, be able to have a technician service contract that handles those issues because the belts seem to burn out, sensors seem to burn out, when we transition.
Mr. Cosenzi, how responsive are they when you call them to see if you can get it?
It takes quite a while. It takes quite a while. We have automation team, there's the other team, just they're really stalled, so we go through a period of couple days. Just either no heat or extreme cold right now. I know people were in the gym the other night and trying to put jackets on the AC is going full blast. We're about right there to get the heat points. I want to try to beat that.
on that service contract, if we were to initiate a service contract, if the budget allows that, is there anything in there that stipulates that they have so much time for them to show up on site to kind of?
That's what I asked for, that the service in the town, yeah, I'm ready to see that.
The projects at the old middle school and the new middle school, those are insurance firms.
The project at the old middle school, yes, it's flood repair, so it's CCSMI, it's insurance.
And then the roof of the building,
The roof on the rear building,
that part we asked for 1.5 million to check water.
I'm not too sure, we're waiting for some of that, so
Thank you.
yes.
Any other questions for Mr. Fulgenzi? Thank you, Mr. Fulgenzi.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is new business. NSU, LED and T Barn MOU.
Good evening. My name is Michael Penn. I'm a member of the faculty in the College of Agriculture, as well as community research and economic development specialist of the Cooperative Citizen Service. And I'm here today in my role as project director of Las Vegas Demonstration and Hearing Funds. And thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to you about our wishes to renew the about 5 years ago, 2019, Senator Campos visited the university and requested if we would consider working with the community of Las Vegas. And I'm trying to increase the production of local food for the consumption. And not just here in the city, but also in the county. And as a result of that conversation, we have established this 2-acre farm plot on the property in collaboration with you all. And we've had quite a bit of success, we feel. And last week, my firm manager was really to assure that everything moved. Our beginning was a bit rough, it was very cold. But it turned out that it is the first year to establish the infrastructure. And I will share with you, this project's financed with an appropriation from the legislature to the university. And you all are not directly putting the cash into this. Which is very appreciated. And we're very thankful to you and the opportunity to discuss this new extension. We have completed the first 5 years, and then we would like consideration to extend it for an additional 5 years. We need to see your time. Like as we really to come up and do detail about the past 5 years, and we have a very qualified team, this system. And because we have to take the questions now,
Yeah, but just this one.
Are you only just asking for an additional 5 years, or are you asking for additional land?
As the MOU current stands, and I look forward to continuing on this, following her guidance, it's for 5 years and for 2 acres. But you would consider more acreage and whatnot. But the MOU is before you now, even though it's soon.
So, Mr. Chair, members of the board, between Mr. Fulgenzi and I, we looked at the MOU, and what we did was we agreed to a 5-year contract or agreement. It's to take a look at, what comes down the road, whether it's additional land, issues with water. What we added to the responsibilities for New Mexico State was to include, and to add utility meters at their costs and the responsibility to pay for those utility fees in the event that the Ezekiel Light this year runs dry and is not available to them, and it does not cost the district any additional money. What we also included was language with regards to safety and security, because those gates stay open and the middle school has been vandalized over several months and occurrences. What we want is for their staff and their individuals to, to abide by the safety and security rules that we have. And of course, to maintain the acreage that they have, to keep it clean and neat. So those were the things that we added to, but we reduced it from 10 years to 5 years. As to not to lock the district into for a long period of time.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Romano.
with that being said, not no disrespecting Mr. Reed, but we've heard before we know what we want to do there. So I'd just like to make a motion right now.
What's your recommendation, Madam Superintendent?
Mr. Chair, being that Mr. Moody is here, I think he deserves at least a couple of minutes to share this information.
I personally would like 10 years or better. But it's not really up to me because I don't know that I'll be here able to do anything in 10 years. But at any rate, for school board and Madam Superintendent, I read your proposal for the revision of the MOA. I think it's great. I think it's fantastic. I agree with it. I think I have pursued trying to get the ownership of the meters changed in last December. So New Mexico will take control of it, New Mexico State University will take control of it, and be able to regulate what happens, especially with the water system, with the irrigation system. We have pursued that since last December. I got the last email I got from the previous superintendent was that she would have the water fixed, the water in the greenhouse, so we could use it as a greenhouse. And by the end of the month, and that was an email that I got from her in January. We finally got it done. Now, thank you, Madam Superintendent. Anyway, so now we have the use of water. Our water situation has been such that we've been using the Ezekiel water for the purpose of watering our raised beds. And we were using the first part of this year, the water from the Ezekiel to water our row crops until July the 23rd, I believe, when we had that big flood. After that, the superintendent of the district, Mayordomo, said that we could expect not to have any more water for the rest of the year because of the damage caused at the diversion by the flood. And FEMA wouldn't allow them to use it anymore until they went through inspections and who knows what else. So we haven't had any water since then. Fortunately, we've had an excellent monsoon season that allowed some of the crops that were irrigated by the Ezekiel system to thrive. And in fact, before I get too far away from that, there is a box there of vegetables to show you the kind of production we get from our raised beds. With that in mind, we have a total of, I believe it's 30 active participants farming in 33 raised beds. I'm thinking some of them might be here today. Show of hands. Yes, I was right. Someone showed up. We've been mentioning this, that the end of our MOA ended on September the 1st. They've all wanted to know what's going to happen next year and in the future. They have plans for expansion, they have plans for row cropping, they have plans for farmers marketing, for which we need the greenhouse and water, etc. So usually they can wash and prepare vegetables and possibly even pull them off at harvest so that we can send it to the farmers market, vegetables that you see in the box there. There's plans for this entire project that are going to go on far beyond me, I'm sure. Anyway, my interest is that I had wanted this to happen when I moved to Las Vegas 37 years ago. I started drip irrigation in Romero Bay, couldn't get anybody interested from this area to go all the way there and do anything, but now the interest is here, and the participants that have shown up for the past year, for example, our dry hard farmers. We grew from 3 years ago when we first started. Okay, the first 2 years we planted, that's my, planted shade. The third, fourth, and fifth year, we started off with 7 raised bed, I believe, with 10 participants, 7 of them were both using the bed. We went on to 15, 16, 18 beds last year, we're at 33 beds now. We have a variety of vegetables that are being grown at this particular time of the year. They're walking in every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and walking out to the back room with fresh vegetables. It's a program that has grown and is thriving and will continue to thrive as long as there's a simple operation between Las Vegas City Schools and New Mexico State University. Now, we had pursued this since last December for the purpose of applying for legislative funds before their deadline. We didn't meet it because we didn't have any idea what would happen with the MOA. Because of the change of administration, it hasn't been addressed until July 1. And then we got a little more action, we got the water fixed, etc. Fortunately, we have been able to use the water on occasion to keep some of our beds in good shape. Until then, we had been hauling water from Sapio, which we had invested in a trailer, in a tank, and pumps, etc., so that we could keep it going. Because our situation is always going to be water. The most important thing, not only for a garden and raised bed farming, in a greenhouse even, is water. Without water, you got nothing. So we're always dealing with that. So fortunately, if we can get the meter change, New Mexico State University at the meter from the city, we can then continue to fix that greenhouse, which is very extensive, once we know that we've got 10 years we're asking for. So we can make the improvements that we'd like to make, because that greenhouse has been abandoned, it's damaged. It needs a lot of repair. Knowing that we can count on it for a longer period of time, we can certainly do something with it. Now, in reference to the land between our well-groomed 2 acres in Dr. Servicino and the greenhouse, there's a field there that we actually be able to use for 2 purposes. For the purpose of cutting the weeds, the invasive weeds that were 4 foot tall a month ago, as well as the musk thistle, which is a noxious weed. They were allowed to bloom again this year, and they went out there and they mowed them. So what did they do? They reseeded them. How do you bring a piece of, you're a farmer with a production? How do you bring something back after you have reseeded and reseeded with noxious weed? It takes years. It takes years of letting it go, propagating it and mowing it before it goes to seed again. It's so simple. It's so simple, but you have to do that. Controlling the noxious weeds there would have been simpler, because Tierra y Montes provides a service to spray and kill noxious weeds. They did that once this year. It worked real great for a few weeks, and then the new noxious weeds came out, and they grew to seed, and they were replanted a month ago when they moved it. It's so simple. The request has been for that to be taken care of for the past 3 years because of the noxious weeds being so invasive. We have been able to control everything on our 2 acres, but we can't control the neighbors. That's why we asked for that area between our farm and the greenhouse. And if you were to see it all bloom, it would literally look like the soccer field, which it was intended to be in the first place, instead of field full of weeds. Now, here's my wife was telling me, sit down, because I don't want to hurt. Were you seeing her, yeah?
Mr. Dugan, I really appreciate you. I can appreciate you're very passionate, and I can appreciate that. I do a lot of farming and ranching myself, so I can appreciate that.
Very fantastic.
Is there any questions for Mr. Dugan? Yes, sure. We have a motion on the floor. Give me 1 second, Dr. Mazur. Madam Superintendent, what's your recommendation on this?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, I recommend approval of the memorandum of agreement as presented.
With that recommendation and a motion by Mr. Romero, do I have a second? I have a second by Mr. Cordova. All in favor? Sorry, there's a discussion. Go ahead. No, we have to do the motion, then have to do the second, then we can have a discussion.
If I may interrupt, I'd love to hear an amendment to that motion to reflect 10 years. That's just my thought.
Thank you, Mr. D, I appreciate that. Go ahead, Dr. Mazur.
Like to make a comment that I did visit the farm, and I did visit the gentleman. And just the collaboration of the community coming together and, you know, the private growing something and the care that they have for that property is just amazing, and it's a wonderful thing that we're part of it. And I thank you guys for taking that initiative to do that, because everybody that I've talked to for 3 of the doctors that I know that are part of it, you know, they love it. And everybody else that I know that's involved with it love it. And I thank you for that.
You should see them on our work days. They actually work for a few minutes and get in the shade and like the back. Fellowship, it's nice.
Thank you.
Great opportunity for students, right, to learn, to keep these traditions going that are with the Las Vegas City Schools. So I think there's a lot of potential.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mr. Romero, we have a second by Mr. Cordova. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Lee.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, item B, strategic plan and goal setting. Madam Superintendent.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, in your packet, we have a hard copy of the strategic plan that we found on file. It is not dated. However, I believe with the board members that are listed, it's probably most recent, 2022. So that is still an active strategic plan. The reason I present that to you this evening is as a result of the goal setting that you have for the superintendent's evaluation. So really what that is a presentation to you of the strategic plan that exists. And then you also have some information with regards to an evaluation tool that we also found for the superintendent's evaluation. So what I want to do is leave that information with you to look over for this next month. So when you come back in October, you can make a decision of whether if those goals still apply or if we should adjust them more closely to the strategic plan as it's set at this point in time.
Mr. President.
Yes, Dr. Mazur.
Madam Superintendent, is there any way we can get the strategic plan that is currently being honored online? Because if you get onto our website, it all says pending, or, you know, I'm working on it or something like that. And so since we do have one, that information should be made public, so that can be there, so that people know what we're going to be changing.
Right, I agree. So with the 3 board members that were here previously, just want to ensure that this was true and accurate, and if so, then we looked at it and posted.
So are there any changes that the current board would like to make or add or amend this? If not, then I guess it's something that we can. Yes, Mr. Brown.
At this point, I don't think we have time.
I agree.
Just know right now, I think this would be something that we do, the treat that we have, we go over that and decide upon the changes or the recommendations of superintendent as well as our facility manager. There's things that we need to get done. But at this point, I think we can just use this as an example of how we help with the evaluation.
I agree. Any other discussion? Give that time, Superintendent. Thank you. Next item on the agenda. Discussion of possible action to issue Herman's Peak tax planning and legal services.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, in your packet, electronic packet, we also have an RFP that I am proposing to put forth this coming week to pursue support for the Herman's Peak Cap Canyon legal services in support of recruitment of some funds as a result of the fires.
So this is something that we've done in the past, I think a year ago, I believe, Mr. Romero, but it wasn't done correctly by not putting an RFP.
Exactly.
So we're just trying to correct stuff. Yes, sir.
us three and the other two voted on it. Yes. So we were the only law firm that was doing it at the time, that's what we took the, yes, well, I mean, I know that what our papers and last, they've been all about all the team.
They did.
We're just trying to rectify, something we did in the past, and so by doing that, thank you for doing that.
This has been reviewed by our attorneys, and it's actually relates very closely the article even to Mora School District.
So, Mr. President, mentioned that, so if for some reason, another firm comes in and we decide to go with that one instead of the one Mr. Costello represents, what do we owe? We have to owe you, or do we owe any money at all at that point, or?
Please join us, Mr. Castellano.
Yeah, sure. Yes and no. The reason I say that is because I have.
You really sound like an attorney when you say that.
I can give the answer, right? And the reason I say that is because, technically you would, right? Under the agreement, there isn't a lien that can be placed for services rendered for our experts. It's a significant amount because the district's claim is 97% done. So it is significant. The reason I say no is because I have spoken with the managing partner, Mr. Jerry Singleton, and he's of the opinion, at this time, he is considering not placing that lien on the district. So it would be up to his determination, but that's where his mind is right now. He does not want to essentially to take that money away from what can be used at the district. So, but it still could happen. But it could happen, so. Yes.
But Mr. Costello, do you feel that this is the right thing to do, that we have to put this out RFP and just go through the steps?
You know, sir, I hate to opine on that. I unfortunately don't represent the district, if that's what council has mentioned. I tell anybody to probably listen to your legal counsel, sure. I mentioned this at our last meeting, we're here to help anybody we can. And so we're certainly not going to walk away and say, figure it out. That's not what we're about. And I can almost guarantee we're going to submit the RFP anyway. We've been successful with 5 out of 5. So I'm hopeful and pretty confident we'll be 6 out of 6. We have a very great team. And so I hate to apply my personal opinion, but I think if your district legal counsel has given you a direction.
I appreciate that, and I'm glad that you are going to be issuing out for that RFP.
I can mention too, if I'm not too far out of line, just for the district's knowledge, I can't apply on this because we represent you technically right now. You have until November 14th, and so approximately 52 days to not only hire to file a new NOL, because the process when it starts.
Right.
So just for the district's knowledge, it should probably be an expedited one, whether we hire somebody else, but you are under a very significant time crunch. That's what the district should be aware of.
Thank you. So is this RFP? Is it ready for approval? Is this something that's? So what's your, Madam Superintendent, what's your recommendation?
Mr. President, if I may, we need to leave now, but I want to make sure that you all don't let those vegetables go to waste.
Thank you.
Denise, you pick up that later on.
Okay,
Thank you all so much for making this.
thank you.
Um,
Mr. President, members of the board, I recommend approval of the RFP.
Services, that plan and legal services RFP.
Yes, sir.
Mr. President,
Yes.
on a recommendation on the motion number 2. Yes, our fees to the currently have 9,000 services.
I have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez, do I have a second?
Second.
One second by Dr. Reserve, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Castellano.
Sure.
Next item on the agenda is item D. Bars, Mr. Merrill, I know you had a question about.
Yes, Madam Superintendent. Why are we asking for, what your story is why we discussed all of that too?
This money will be applied to the current utilized Memorial Middle School. And what we are intending to use these funds for is to support with the heating and cooling. We have significant issues with that, so we need to get those rooms in a more comfortable space for our students and our staff.
And may I ask why President Quintana, you went to bed and not the superintendent? Because I think that's going beyond your scope as a
I
president.
didn't go to the,
It says in that documentation that you spoke with Antonio.
I spoke to Antonio about the old Memorial Middle School, about seeing if we could open it, but that's the old Memorial Middle School, there wasn't.
I'm not sure to keep that up for 1.5. Okay.
This one was a junior bill. I did reach out to PED. The language was very vague, so we also did an open to which facility it was applied to. So I actually had some questions from PSFA. But because of course we're utilizing its current location and the needs that we have, that's where we're applying it. But they did not have an indication as to who, so I did ask this question. It was just a junior bill that was forward.
And I think Mr. Romero, when I talked to Mr. Antonio from PD, it was about the budget, about our crisis that we were in last year. That was the reason why. I don't know why then he would down.
And then secondly, do we have an offset to this 1.5 million?
No, sir.
No.
And just an FYI, effective July 1st, 2023, SB 131 has eliminated all offsets.
From here on out?
Offsets from July 1st, 2023. So the language means that all outstanding offsets held against the increase have been eliminated. And this is not qualified, yeah, and this does not qualify for an offset because it was a House bill, not an appropriation.
But any outstanding offsets are
Basically relevant.
so they decided we're gonna get more.
And correct me if I'm wrong, still, if we don't use this, we lose this.
And it has to be used just for the current middle school, or can it be used?
Memorial Middle School.
So, yeah, so then, if it ends up being 1.2 million, we can't use the other
No, sir.
anywhere else.
But the language that was put in was vague, so if it is only 1.2 million to remedy the HVAC issue, then we can apply that to something else
Within that.
within the memorial.
Thank you.
With that, is there any other discussion? Would that need to make a motion to approve this bar? Both bars, so we have not approved the bar.
So, Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve bar 27-118 or 1.5.
27.
27-118,
Okay.
I do fund 27-118 for 1.5 million special capital outlay. And bar 28-111 for 31,187 for the Department of Transportation. So Madam Superintendent, will be the recommendation on these two bars.
Excuse me, Mr. President, we already have a motion.
So you made a motion.
We already made a motion.
Yeah, you made a motion. So I have a motion by Mr. Gonzalez, do I have a second? I have a second by Dr. Nazir, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Next item on the agenda is student report. Mr. Merrill.
Following representative report is from September. Some of the events in the high school are just, we also posted a club rush on September 4th, to help students learn about the different clubs in school. We collabed with all the clubs, and we hosted like a little passport, to get, to receive a prize, and also signature to the club, get free admission to dance. Our senior painted parking lots, with the barbecue, we had a board and that members on the 10th. September 9th to 13th was homecoming. Students participated in spirit week between the pep rally and our annual bonfire entry. RHS Dreammakers hosted a Wellness Wednesday on September 18th. Dreammakers collabed with Suicide PNA and Central, CDHC, NMHU, the Army, CDL instructors, world cultures, and students. Wellness Wednesday will be a monthly event for any health awareness for that. Also, in addition to energy for 3 meters, was a blood drive was 9 and I got, there was 27 times donated for the blood drive. Spain also would also like to thank Mr. Colon and the board for supporting council members to participate at National Council Summit. The city council would like to show their appreciation by presenting pictures of the event and sport meeting. And also the seniors would like to thank the board and staff for hosting a barbecue out the seniors in the parking lot. We appreciate it so much. Thank you guys. Middle school. So our MMS student council helps welcome students by setting up positive bulletin boards. And they also hosted their own spirit week for homecoming and participated in the creative development. Terra Vista hosted their own spirit week for homecoming and allowed Michael Leo on his local homecoming. And Rostinios hosted their own spirit week for homecoming and participated in the creative development.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. Next item on the agenda, superintendent report.
Mr. President, members of the board, attached in your agenda is my report. I will stand for any questions on any of these, but a couple that I do want to highlight are just an acknowledgement to Mr. Trujillo, his staff, Ms. Reddy, Mr. Fulgenzi, student council, all the individuals that put the homecoming together. We've got several positive remarks from both students, staff, and well, like I should not both, but several students, staff, and parents regarding the activities and the facilities that the students partook in. I also participated in the Wellness Wednesday and visited yesterday. And again, kudos to Ms. Donna Ortiz for putting that together. We had a significant turnout of community members and students were very engaged in those activities. We did receive an OCR case settlement. This was something that was filed in 2011. And it was for compensatory services and special education that were not being offered to students at that particular time. That has been officially closed. So that is real good news. Mr. Romero asked me to look into the progress of the Forest Service and Legion Elementary School property transfer. And speaking with Mr. Sanchez, he indicated that they are still securing the title policy. And once that is received, they will seek an appraisal. So, but he did not have a timeline at this point in time. We mentioned a little earlier, Mr. Fulgenzi and our team will be meeting with the Hill and Associates in KSFA next week regarding the schematic design for Sierra Vista. And I will also be meeting in light of all the issues that I'm sure you guys are hearing with the threats to several districts and schools. I was in the process of working with Rave, which is a Rave panic button that we push out an app to all of our cell phones. And it creates a redundancy for our district with regards to calling out safety and security issues. If there's an assailant, fire, anything like that. Anyone who has the app, which we are inviting all of our staff members to download that app, will be able to call on an emergency that will be directly linked with dispatch. So I am meeting with state police, the sheriff's office, and city police next week. And the organizer, the trainer of the Rave app, and we'll be scheduling events. We will do an active shooter drill in December with all law enforcement and all of our staff. So, and again, it's to be prepared and be ready for the issues. We did have a threat assessment and threat and vulnerability assessment for one of our schools, and we were not in good shape whatsoever. So we're going to have some work to do to remedy communications significantly and security of that particular campus. So we'll be working on all of that with Mr. Wilkins and the rest of the team.
Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. Martin.
Superintendent, also that report, you said that the 1,000 year contract still being worked on?
They are, I can defer that to. Well, we're actually waiting on scheduling with the company, right, at this point in time, so we're anticipating to have dates this coming week, that's where we're waiting.
They won't work since the first day of school, why won't we schedule it sooner?
Well, we were looking for individuals to support that work, right, so, and again, I'm gonna defer this to Mr. Salas.
We've had several issues with getting contractors out, for various reasons. We did have a contractor come out to work on the 1,000 air pumps. There were parts that needed to be ordered, specialized parts. Took a minute to source those parts, and now we're waiting on another break ground on those. I'm told we should break ground inside the next 2 weeks. That's the 1,000.
I guess it's hard to get a contractor to come out when we haven't been paying our bills to get our FEIN. And that comes down to past, I guess the previous projects, 2-3 years old, that we still stated before, so I think we need to clean that up to get contractors in here to do services for us.
Thank you for that, and that's absolutely true.
And it's not only for capital projects, but several IT work that we need to get done.
Anything I received, yes. Everything that's paid is out there. We also had issues with equipment aging out while we were waiting on the contractor because we weren't ready to move. So there was an issue with access control with the server that was quoted for access control was end of life for the support. The vendor was not anticipating that, so we had to resource the server for access control. That's been sourced and we're waiting on that product.
Mr. President, since those are the
It's not because bills are being paid, right now,
Those are the contracts.
what was happening now is we are paying the bills, but I have not been authorized to pay. Honeywell just authorization, Summit, the job is not completed, so we are not paying them, but so I guess you could say. The bills are not being paid, but if the job is not complete, I'm not receiving any authorization to pay. I mean, I'll pay it if I receive approval, I don't pay anything if I'm approval. So because Summit, yeah, it's like on the jobs, I'm not paying the bill.
That ends up being a domino effect, but not other services.
And then a lot of the IT stuff is being approved, they're generating POs, if you need a wage decision, you'll not get any purchase. So some of the purchase orders that have been pushed through for IT, they're approved. So it depends if you need a wage decision and it's above $60,000. That's the only criteria. Well, and then once we resolve posting of elementary, which we have updates as of September 9th from Brent Franken. And then Summit, which hopefully we got an update from Michelle Arbon recently. Once those updates are in and we can get the contractor to finish and we pay, then they'll release our FDM.
One question, it comes back down to these projects not being completed in a timely manner, and I know, Mr. Fulgenzi, it's not Mr. Fulgenzi, he's the facility director, but we have a project manager, I believe. His name is Clay. What are we doing to put pressure on this project manager so we can complete these projects? What are we doing, Madam Superintendent, to see, is it something that we need to go out and look for a new project manager because we aren't getting these projects done in a timely manner? What can we do better?
Based on my current observations and work, I would not be opposed to that. However, Mr. Fulgenzi and I, we, especially Mr. Fulgenzi and Mr. Archibald are continually working with him and calling them for meetings. I have met with him numerous times, emailed him and called him. But I would like to see someone who's more of a boots on the ground, following up with these projects versus us having to ask for the status of this one.
Yes, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Fulgenzi, was that Colleen's position there for a while? What was her position?
Colleen and Jeremy Ortiz, correct?
Yes, Colleen was our project manager prior to, yes, and she basically, her role ended during the Los Niños project. So then we brought her on board to.
What is your opinion on maybe asking? I thought Colleen did the job, but
Well, I just started in this position in 2018, so more familiar, I didn't get to work with Colleen. In a different position of middle school principal at the time. So Colleen is really all I know right now, but he does appear, he shows up for, virtually for the meetings, but we don't see enough of him, especially for this Franklin project, with the meeting quite a bit.
And I could probably,
He was here on the ground, he was here at all the work we need.
I could probably attest to Mr. Polgenzi on the being that I'm a contractor. It's hard to do any kind of project management through Zoom or whatever. And I think we really need to look to see if we can find a project manager, either Clay to be attending these meetings, our board meetings, and being, maybe he's on the project 3 times a week. Or we just need to look for a new project manager.
Right, I agree. A lot of the work that we push through right now is because I have direct contact with PSFA and their deputy secretary, so I know them really well, and Mr. Fulgenzi and I have met with them numerous times, so they're the ones that are helping us push these contractors to get the job done.
Because it's kind of that's the bottleneck. It seems like right now is our project management is just not getting done. Somebody still can stand up and these things.
Quality of work too. Quality of work is down significantly.
That's something maybe Madam Superintendent you should really look into and maybe give us a report next board meeting.
Mr. President,
Yes, Mr. Mao.
one of the other things, Madam Superintendent, I report was you were gonna change. Any order, purchase order under 5,000 did not require any quotes.
Yes, sir.
I thought everything was 1,000 required quotes. No, just make, I wanna just clarify anything.
Yes,
That point.
anything over 5 will require 3 quotes from this point forward.
And that's, as long as that's small, that's fine.
Yes, sir.
There's one thing I wanted to, based on the report you had, enrollment. And I wanted the board, I wanted to kind of read this to the board and everybody in attendance. This is from PD. This is showing a graph of our, enrollment for the last 10 years. The district enrollment has declined by 656 students, or 37% from academic year 2014 to academic 2024. That's 1,000 from 1,775 down to 1,119 students. The elementary sector has lost 440 students, or 42%, from 1,047 down to 607 during the same time period. Middle school sector has seen an enrollment decline of 112 students, or 39.4%, from 284 down to 172 during the same time period. The high school sector has seen an enrollment decline of 104 students, or 23.4%, from 444 down to 340 during the same time period. And I know we can say it's people moving out of town, it's people relocating, but on the next paragraph, it says West Las Vegas district enrollment has remained flat with a 1.75% decline during the same period, reflecting only a decline of 28 students. And this comes from PD. Madam Superintendent, I don't know if we can maybe do something, we can maybe get a committee together, we can get the board involved to see how we can keep our enrollment, or go out there and see how we can get more students. That's a huge, significant loss in 10 years. 656 students district-wide. That's a major.
It's pretty significant, and obviously that's impacting your budget, the revenue that's coming in. I would say one of the things that we need to look at, as I've mentioned previously, is really taking a look at our strategic plan. What is our focus? What are we working towards? And then really getting into the classrooms. Our director and myself, our administrators, getting into those classrooms and looking at the rigor that we have in our courses, the programming that we offer. And with all improvements, you know that we have, as far as, I have had conversations with some individuals, they are concerned or not, maybe not too happy with the programs that we have. As well as the climate and the environment. So those are some things that we'll be working on with regards to building a culture of excitement back into the classrooms, activities that we can engage our students in, but also providing a robust program and exploratory programs for our kids. So there's a lot to do, but I think there's a lot of conversation with not only administration, but staff members and community members with regards to what the vision and the goal for Las Vegas schools is.
How are we, one second, Mr. Mayor. How are we, this year on enrollment? Have we declined any up to this point?
We're up, I believe, about 15 students from last year.
Awesome. Mr. Mayor?
Madam Supervisor, that was one of the issues that this, woman that we're talking about, Colleen, brought to the board. She did all of San Antonio County to show the decline in population. And that was one of the reasons for the night silence, and we had to report on the middle school because it's a big one allow us to have everyone pass by the money. It's that, her first, and she did, whole presentation of San Antonio County. So it's still, it's going to be time years.
And it's, I think it's a combination, across the board with regards to lower birth rates as well. You know, we see that. But the concern with that is why we are seeing a decline in West Las Vegas is not, so we need to do something different here, I think, anyway. Right, that needs to be more competitive and keep the kids that we do have, so, but I think there's maybe multiple factors with that, I agree.
I think, I know that, 5 board members, 3 of us had seniors this year, and I know my daughter came home, she's pretty excited about the whole morale about homecoming and everything. I think it's pretty good. I know Mr. Dawson's from Maryland, he can attest to any of that, but I think there is some good things going on in Las Vegas City schools, and I think the environment is good, so I think we need to build on that and move forward. I think it'd be good.
I think the morale is good. I think one thing is great. I felt like there was pride amongst administrators and students. My biggest concern would be having the students at West is the blue credit program. Here,
This was no.
Madam Supervisor, well, other question, ready for comments? About 8 years ago, the board voted to make Robertson High School a closed campus. That's why the fences up there, that's why we put in a large shot. So we got a closed campus for the safety, #1, safety of students and staff. And #2, to cut down on truants, because people are leaving out lunch for lunch and not coming back. On Monday, the 9th of September, I drove to the high school, so I could speak with the principal there, because I didn't ask for information. I parked on 5th Street, got down the front gate, stopped up on the walk. I walk in, actually I keep the walk out when I walk in. I walk up to the far hall where the principal is now, and their front doors pop up on the March front. I go sign in, do my business, sign out, and leave. I drive around, and the side gate by the time building is popped open when I want to come. Then Tuesday morning, I went to go check on the status of my daughter's parking space. And everybody was driving on and off campus. There was nobody at the car check. There was not a sign in, sign out sheet. I mean, this is an issue, a big safety issue. And I want to know what we are doing to correct this. I didn't see security anywhere on campus, either on Monday or on Tuesday. And then I see in the report that some security guy on his own is asking for donation of chain. I mean, if you're not in the art shack, what's the chain gonna be? You know, no, I don't know where your security is. I can answer. Our security, we are short-handed. We have 3 security guards at Robinson currently, and I just brought on a new security guard. The chain issue was something to contend with, that's been taken care of. There's a rope going up, starting my brother. The guard shack is occupied starting today. We had security training yesterday for in-service, and the access control is what I mentioned earlier, winning on the server. Again, we should break ground on that in the next 2 weeks, and all the access control will be fixed. I've been working hard to secure the campus, IT, kick cones and rocks and closed doors, and I'm on campus a week twice a day. Been trying to educate my security guys, but it's we're running uphill on this one because they're also closing gates. Their teachers, administration, and others are opening gates back and up. So it's a constant circle of just doing perimeter checks. I'm asking my security team to maintain that perimeter, but we're going to struggle.
Right, and I'm gonna do it.
Well, and I think some of this goes back to when we have it, we can't get a contractor in here to help you with that service, so we can get this secured because of all the other things that are going on. So,
But regardless of that,
doors and gates should not be properly. We're at closed campus, right there, we're here for the security of our kids, we're staff. These things should not be properly. Regardless.
The message,
Contract we're not really doing.
the message has been here like over and over, we're working to try to get them educated. Fast food staff, not proper doors.
There's an option for that as well, Mr. Romero. We as a board can vote to make it an open campus. And that would solve that issue.
And decrease the safety of our staff and kids.
But it's still an option that the board, the body of the board could do.
Why do you want to decrease the safety of staff and kids?
Well, it was an open campus for many, many years.
Yeah, but many years before, we didn't have the situation we have these days.
I think, how long was it a closed campus?
It's been about 7 years.
I don't think it's been, my daughter is 23 years old, she graduated in 2018, and it was never a closed campus. I never saw it as a parent, I don't see it as a board member, I don't think it's something that's happening right now, I think it's something that's been happening since the last 8 years. I just don't think it's something that's, Las Vegas City Schools is taking any kind of direction to really make it a true closed campus. I go to West Las Vegas for various issues, for work and stuff, and they question me at the guard shack, they ask me if I'm doing it, where I'm gonna go, they do that kind of stuff, which is kind of nice. In the last 7, 8 years, I've never seen that.
Exactly, that's what I'm asking for.
So those are the things that we are working on. We are bringing security training. That is one of the things that I've spoken to Mr. Salas about. So we already have scheduled security training specifically to support our security guards as well as our staff members. But there also needs to be accountability and responsibility of our staff that aren't having doors open or are circumventing the rules for their personal benefit or for, any other individuals. So it's about communication, but it's also about making them aware, as Mr. Salas is saying, educating them on the whys we do that, and that's where we're bringing in trainers to support that. Right now, and we have had conversations with Mr. Trujillo and the rest of the team, is, instead of trying to keep those gates open, is to put a phone number out there so parents can call. And I'm not sure what's happening in the back gates. I will address that with security and Mr. Trujillo, Mrs. Gonzalez. But we also need to hold our staff accountable and our students accountable with regards to, going back to that chain or the rope issue. If they can't follow the rules, then they don't have parking privileges. Those are pretty straightforward things that we need to look at. And so again, it's about accountability and responsibility of everyone who's involved. Safety is everyone's responsibility. So we're working on it. I know we need to be, but we are working on it.
With that comment, dear comment, I did revoke 2 student parking passes this week, but one last week, one this week.
Madam Superintendent, one more question I have for you is, when you leave, you've taken some time off since you've been hired. Who is your administrator in charge? You never get an update as to who is.
Mr. Trujillo is the administrator in charge.
Always be the administrator in charge, or?
I'm sorry?
Will he always be the administrator in charge?
At this point, I'm gonna say yes, but if he's not available, I will assign someone else.
Well, it'd be nice to get an update that is small. The leader, Mr. Trujillo, or Mr. Weber, or Mrs. Weber, is the admin in charge.
But I think, like previous, when I wasn't president, I think the past superintendents only notified the president at the time. And so if you have a question as a board member, you can call me and then I can let you know who's the administrator in charge. And she could just notify one board member rather than notifying all of us, because we don't want a forum to send out a text or anything like that. So just please.
You don't have to answer to the public. It's nice to get up there, so you don't have to answer.
I think what we're doing in the past works all right, and so if you are taking
That's
the
what you
lead,
did in the past.
if you're taking the lead or anything, you can notify me. There's no other questions for the superintendent. Next item on the agenda is executive session. Motion. Executive session.
I'll make a motion. Thank you.
Have a second? Have a motion by Dr. Missouri, have a second by Mr. Gonzalez, roll call please.
Board Member Dennis Romero.
Yes.
Board Member David Cordova. Board Secretary Dr. Joyce Deserve. Board Vice President Paul Gonzalez. Board President Michael Quintana.
Yes. Board of Education will convene a closed session pursuant to matters in NMSA 1978, section 1051H2. Discussion and limited personnel matters pursuant to NMSA 1978, section 1051H7. Discussion of threatened or pending litigation in which Las Vegas City Schools may become a participant in possible litigation regarding Hermit's Peak, Craft Canyon Fire. We are now in executive session. It's 6:37. Mr. Costello, please join us.
Thank you. Is there a way we can pause? Yes. I know they're doing YouTube, but I don't know if it's relevant. What is that?
That's the place tomorrow.
And they're like, doing,
Wait,
I think spay and neuter.
that's
Oh,
wrong paper.
oh,
Sorry. This one.
there is no. Yeah. We're using the. We're not recording, so we don't need to pause anything. I'll show you how to record next time. Okay.
Something very transparent for it.
Oh, here's the
And it's a beautiful one, yeah. Yes.
Because of how getting lighter acres, right? And he said, yeah, it's like this. It's why it's like dinner with the house, putting up like it's big. And it's not enough of it, it's pain and super fun. Yeah, I can see where you know that. I think you see the bottom come on. That's one now, maybe I don't think they wanted to send the person to the food like that, but I don't see. I think they thought we could, yeah, I think that was the name. I just realized that now. Yeah. And he's a good, he is, like seriously, yeah. He's to be good over that. Could you go, you just want to be like. Thank you. Cool. He said the other day, he had a part yeah. You know, he's trying to talk with farm and monster rights and what he's doing. Siri, I mean, maybe not really homeless, but not Siri. It's not. I'm looking at him like, I said, I'm going to grab that one. Brings me over to school to do something else, so we have no service. So when we get there, it's busy for the rest of this. So I did before, it's missing one. It's so cute. So it's, yes, it's. Big, my nephew, my sister, yeah. My sister's grandkids. There's something about it. I haven't been out of this. He's pretty, he is, there's something, and he does, there's a, he just goes to the hospital. We had, I live in this place, when we see that, Yeah, I mean, my niece and her husband live here, kids, they're not moms. It's like, so they'll stay with their except it's not always fine. I like this, but I'll look it up this weekend. And also look at the schedule and he does that, he's got firm clothes. He's very, yeah, so he's very, he's certainly, there's something, you know. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I was thinking. Now that is. Yeah, not even good, and so you're out and, I'm. Like, I think was, is and is not, it was. Don't need contact information, this. Ian and then I'm sure the first knowledge or teachers. The one who are on contact, so. Is, we have. Oh, we want to, we didn't get it. We definitely need your update. That'd be great. I made it to the ABC. Separated by teachers, names, by last university. Oh, that would be perfect. Anyone who do right here. Is, I'm assuming to be very good. This is my, address. And it should be pages, I remember that. Yeah. So that. I keep notes, my notes separated. It's just gonna say, this is my in the subject. Yeah. And you can just send it to that. I think that's a very good best again. Every year we'll watch it, but no, we try. All right, thank you for that. When you have to.
I have a motion by Mr. Rivera. I have a second by Mr. Porter.